Well, Brandon, it is very good to welcome you to Cambridge. I guess it's the UK Cambridge, because Brandon is from Cambridge Bay in northern Canada. So, Brandon, I was wondering whether you could, first of all, tell us a bit about where you are from and the community there. How many people are there? Describe the community for us, please.
Um, Hello. From like Sean said, from Cambridge Bay, Nunavut, there's 2,000 people. It's very small, but we're still a subsistence hunting community. We still live off the land. Like the first video that was played, the elders talking about the sea ice and how important it is to us. It's really important. Like the we rely off the ice. The animals rely off from the ice. It's a big part of our daily life.
So, in terms of just, your daily life, how does that change between the summer and the winter, regarding transportation and hunting and things like that? Slightly.
Oh, there's Cambridge Bay. As you can see, like we rely on the ice. We travel all year, as long as we can. We travel on the ice to follow the caribou. We follow their migrations. Living on an island, we have to travel to the mainland. We have to travel long distances. Uh, there's with the climate change now, it's taking us longer. We have to wait longer to cross over in the winter, and it's melting a lot faster in the spring. As one of the elders in the video stated that this year we weren't able to access some of the fishing spots. So the for us that's it's very difficult because like living off of the land, living off the caribou, the fish, seals, it's harder to get to them. And then we have to rely on the stores, which is not economical for us at all.
So, tell us a bit more about the costs of living then. When in it, so hunting isn't just a recreational thing for you guys.
Yes, the cost of food, like bread, almost $10 a loaf. We got potatoes that are, $25, $30 for a bag. Milk, $15. It's not easy for us just to go to the store and buy groceries. So we do live off, the meat, like the caribou and the fish, seals, as I stated before. For us, if we can't access them, it's it's a it's way too expensive. So in that we need to for that we have a lot of people like living under the poverty line because of the cost of food and the cost of equipment to go out hunting. It's very important. We rely on hunting a lot and the fishing.
So that's the community, Brandon. What about you personally? I mean, can you describe what you do, in terms of your general lifestyle? How much time do you personally spend on the ice, hunting, as part of with the community?
Yeah, I spend 6 months out of the year on the ice. We're traveling on it as much as possible. We have there's different outpost camps all over. Our families hunting, grounds. We we spend as much time out there as we can. Like I mentioned numerous times that meat, like the caribou, is important for us, and we follow them, much like the Sami do. We don't herd them, but we follow them. We follow the migration routes north and south. It's yeah, we spend as much time as possible. Right now, it's fishing season, so they go from following them lakes, and then they go to the rivers, and they go to the ocean, and then as summer goes on, it goes back up. They go back to the rivers and back up to lakes.
So, when you're seeing these changes in the loss of sea ice, so caribou for you, this is your how you feed your families. What's happening to the migration routes of caribou? Uh,
The migration routes, they're changing every year. We've noticed that there's been years where we've had mass die-offs because of the caribou trying to migrate south too early and the ice is too thin and they fall through, and sadly we lose huge numbers that way. At the same time, it takes them longer to come up, and if they don't travel north fast enough, that they can get stuck on the mainland. So our populations are dwindling. Right now, they're pretty low because of some of these mass die-offs that we've seen.
Okay, so let's now talk about what's going on in Cambridge Bay and looking at, are there things that we might be able to do to try and effectively preserve uh, your your livelihoods. So with Real Ice and Arctic Reflections have been there as well as this concept of artificially thickening ice, which I think is being explored. And the basis of this is, well, can we grow more sea ice in the Arctic winter? And it's not a million miles from the idea of thickening roads or creating ice roads by spraying seawater on top of sea ice, just to get more ice to form in the Arctic winter. How do you feel about the efforts of Real Ice in looking to thicken the ice in Nunavut?
I think it's very important. It's a project that I wish we didn't need, but sadly, the way that the world's going, the ice is thinning out. As you can see in the one picture there, like that's how thick the ice is on the lake. The ice on the ocean gets about that thick, but now we're noticing it's not as thick. It's thinning more and more. It's melting faster, taking longer to freeze. It's a very important project. Like I see here that there's so many projects, focusing on saving the Arctic, and I appreciate that. Um, Again, I wish it wasn't projects that we needed, but sadly the case is we do need these projects right now.
Okay. Can you share with us a bit about your experience of actually working with Real Ice? This isn't Real Ice or anyone else doing research on you, on your land, without you. Can you just describe a bit about the the collaboration and the involvement of the local community?
It's very important to us that Realize has been talking to locals, the elders. They're getting traditional knowledge, and it's very important that the elders are heard. They're seen. They're the knowledge keepers. They've been seeing the changes for the last 100 years. So it's very important to us that Realize has been talking with them, and the elders are very appreciative of it. It's not a lot of projects go through traditional knowledge, so it's nice to see that somebody's changing that way.
And what about you? You personally involved in the research project itself?
It's been a lot of fun. There's been some cold, wet days on the ice, but there's been a lot of beautiful days, and you get to see the project how it works. We've had a lot of spots where it's thickened up by over a meter, and so it's been really interesting, right? Start to finish this year. Right now, we're still doing drone aerial photography of the spots to see how long the ice is staying thicker, and you can visibly see it from space.
And even when Real Ice aren't there, are you involved in actually helping continue the research?
Yeah, we've been helping out as much as I can. Uh, it's hard with the multiple jobs, but some of the stuff right now, helping with like one of the Kian's back in Cambridge right now, still doing the drone work. So I've been helping out with him in that sense.
That's great. And what would you want for the future of your community? So just think this through, that if some of these ideas look to be at least helping on a local scale before even thinking of anything bigger, what would you want for the future of your community? Would this be something that perhaps your community might actually take on and try and help sort of in the local area?
Where we are, It's I don't want to say it's not important. We're not affected by the ice as much as some of the smaller communities that live by the flow edge. It's still important to us that, the caribou migrations, the thinning ice for the seals and the polar bears, and it's it'd be
No, no, no. So, you we haven't. You've talked caribou. You just mentioned polar bears there. So, tell us about the polar bears, because um, in certain parts of the world, like in Svalbard, there are many, many polar bears, and it's a community where health and safety is a really big issue. And my understanding is that even every home, every car needs to be left open so that um, anyone walking in the streets can go and find refuge if they find polar bear. What's the polar bear situation in Cambridge Bay? And in fact, how are they viewed?
we don't have polar bears in the community. Every now and then you'll get a few that walk by. So luckily we're not affected that much by them. That being said, though, our populations have grown all across Nunavut. A lot of the populations have, risen. It's great to see you be out in the land. Usually, the east of Cambridge Bay, there's some islands out there where the ice gets rougher, and more seal dens out there, and the populations out there have boomed quite a bit.
And then what about grizzlies? Because my understanding was that they're not supposed to be up there. What's going on?
Yeah, we've had grizzly bears on the island now for a number of years, and we actually had one of our local hunters was out on a polar bear hunt, subsistence, and he shot a grizzly bear that was following it was a male grizzly bear that was following a female polar bear. So we're waiting to see. Maybe we'll have some more mixes next year. So
I don't know what the right word would be for a merging of polar and grizzly bear. Brandon, is there anything else you wanted to share with us? We've got these changes on these slides here.
like Novelik said in the first video, how we weren't able to go fishing. You can see from this one slide how it's changed from year to year. And this is a couple years apart, but even this year, it's been big, like, drastically changing. Somebody else mentioned permafrost earlier. That's also another big concern. We have a lot of permafrost spots that are disappearing. They're just the hills look like they're melting away, and so yeah, with climate change, we're seeing it a lot back in Cambridge Bay. We have a lot of different projects going on, and one of them is the permafrost.
And you talk about other projects in Cambridge Bay. For those who don't know, Cambridge Bay is also the home of the Canadian High Arctic Research Station. And scientists often come in and do research. How unusual is it for the local community to be part of and running the research, even when the researchers aren't there?
It's becoming more and more popular. There's more and more people being involved. We have, CHARS has field techs. We have wildlife officers. We have people like myself who get involved. It's becoming more popular in Cambridge Bay.
So, I mean, this is wonderful to hear that the local community being actually part of the research community, supporting each other. Is there anything else that you might want to say regarding this space, Brandon?
Uh, it's like I said, I want to say thank you to everybody that working on all these projects to save the Arctic. This is, my home. This is our home. The Arctic is an amazing place that needs a little help right now.
Well, great. Well, Brandon, thank you ever so much indeed for sharing your experiences with us this morning. I know you're going to be around, and so maybe some one-on-one conversations for anyone who is interested. But Brandon, it's a real privilege to have you here in Cambridge, UK, all the way from Cambridge Bay in Canada. Thank you ever so much indeed.
Thank you.